Welcome, everybody. My name is Leah McLaughlin, and I'm the director of the Bay Area Entrepreneurship Center. And with me today is
Hi guys, my name is Kaitlyn Diaz. I am actually a Skyline Cosmetology Program alumni. I have been licensed for 2 years now, this month actually, and I am currently an employee at a salon in Belmont.
And yes, Kaitlyn's fairly new to the industry, and she's going to help us model how to design your best beauty and barber business and explore. She's been doing this for 2 years now. She's starting to hone in a little bit on her skill set and what makes for a great experience with clients. So she's ready to start thinking deeply about if she launched her own business, how she would do so, uh, and create something kind of a unique offering that helps her to stand out. And that's basically what this workshop is about, is creating a business that you differentiate yourself a little bit from everybody else that's out there. Uh, you're on the peninsula in the Bay Area. Is there a lot of salons in the peninsula?
So many.
So many. It's a crowded field. So you're kind of competing with other people. And what we want to do with this workshop is help you think about what's your, people call it a niche. Where's your special sweet spot where you're offering something and you have an audience that really wants that, and you find a little niche that nobody else is really occupying, and you offer something a little bit unique in that space that creates a really loyal clientele and creates what I call stickiness, people that want to stay with you and not go to some other business owner. All right, so let's get into it. And we're going to lead you through how to really think about yourself and help you come up with some unique ideas for launching your business. All right, so first of all, what were some experiences I had that made me want to come back to business or never return again? What's a business that you've been to, a salon or a spa, and you were like, oh, I definitely want to come back here?
Oh my gosh, so I can actually recall the salon that I was going to before I started working in the industry myself. And the reason why I loved going there and why I wanted to come back was I remember one time I was doing a really big chop on my hair. I cut off maybe 6 inches, and I walked in with a tangled mess of a bun on top of my head. And I actually felt really bad when I got in there, but they completely dealt with it, made me feel like I wasn't crazy for doing that. And I still left looking and feeling really good. So I think that that welcomeness and that comfortability of me not looking like I had good hair
Yeah,
was what made me want to come back.
I totally agree with that. I love going to salons where I can kind of show up a bit frazzled and
Judgment-free
yeah,
zone.
judgment-free zone. Was there anything that made you choose that salon to go to for cutting off those 6 inches?
Yeah, actually, so it was a family salon. I had multiple family members
Okay.
that would go to that salon, so they were referring me over there when it was time for me to kind of have what they would call a grown-up cut.
Okay. And that is such a great example because that is truly what happens with successful businesses, is that you offer something really great, people fall in love with it, and then they do your marketing work for you. They start to refer you because they love what you're doing. They fall in love with you, your business, and they want to tell other people about it. So again, that's kind of what we're aiming for here, is that you create that business that's not horrible where people don't want to come back. And it's also not boring and unmemorable. It's something that, again, has that special touch, that secret sauce that makes people want to come back and also tell their friends and family about it. There's another business in the area, somebody that I work with. Again, her entire family would go to this person, and their retiring. The entire extended family's like, oh my God,
What are we gonna do?
It's like, versus an institution in our lives. So,
Yes, honestly.
yeah. All right. So basically I love to use this model. I didn't create it, but I found it uh online and I just fell in love with it because I feel like it really helps to center the basics of creating that successful business. So at the top, what do you notice?
Um, First circle on top says you love it.
And why do you think that's really, really important in this barber and beauty industry?
I mean, I can see there that it says passion and mission.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it is really important to make sure that what you're offering is something that you love. Otherwise, at least I know me personally, when I'm doing a service that I don't love, my body kind of feels it.
Yeah.
And it's hard to hide it on my face that
Yeah.
I don't love what I'm doing. And I feel like clients definitely pick up on that.
Totally. You are part of the experience. If we're competing on price and people are coming to us because we're just cheap, we're convenient, it's not so important. But if we want to start serving clients who are willing to pay maybe a little bit more for a slightly better experience up to much higher, we really want to tap into that passion that you pointed out and that feeling of you're loving what you're doing. Also, you're showing up every single day to do the service. And if you start to get sick of it and you're not feeling it, again, those clients are going to pick up on that.
Yeah.
And this is their moment of the day where they're doing a little bit of something for themselves. And they want to feel not only they're getting that great technical service, but also that they feel good. Again, if you're doing the rock bottom prices like supercuts or something, not so critical, but we don't really want to steer you guys that way. We want to steer you towards that dedicated, loyal customer base and that you're not competing on price, which is just really, really hard to do.
Yeah.
And so we already started to talk about this. Of course, you also have to actually be good at the thing that you're doing. So if you're still in school or you're just out, you want to start noticing, what am I particularly good at? And Kaitlyn, from what I understand, you're already discovering that through your assistantship and moving in to the role as employed. You want to talk a little bit about what you're discovering that you're great at?
So I think it's really funny because it just kind of happens by chance on the people that I get in my chair. At least how I started to find out that I was good at this. But a lot of people have been seeking me out because they have really thick, hard to manage hair that is really hard to appear kind of very light or soft looking. And I have kind of mastered a way of texturizing the hair and cutting the hair in a way where it does have that softness and it has that weightlessness. And other people who do have thick hair are being recommended to come see me because of that really special technique that I do actually take the extra time to perform on those people. I give them their haircut, I blow dry them, and once they're blow dried, I don't send them off quite yet. I go through and I debulk, I take out any kind of weight that people might be unhappy with or just doesn't make the cut look as uniform as it should be. And people are happy with that.
Yeah. And so she's already getting referrals and leaning into this probably becoming one of her specialties, which is not to say it's the only service that she performs, but she's going to start getting known for this. And are you enjoying it?
Oh my God, I love it. So I've got two circles down. I love it and I'm good at it.
All right. And we already covered the other part is that there's a community out there that needs this.
For sure.
So she's finding this little niche that not a lot of people are great at. This particular style of thick hair, not only knowing how to cut thick hair, but also how to line it up a little bit. So, yeah, so she's finding people who are probably struggling to find somebody that really knows how to deal with this type of hair type. And once somebody finds someone who's really good at it, like Kaitlyn is, again, they're going to tell other people like, oh my God, I finally found the right person for me. And they're not going to ever leave her.
Yeah, hopefully.
And that's where we get to the last circle, which is that you are paid for it. And this is the other thing that we really want to think about is the people, the potential market for the service. We might really love something. We might also really be great at it. And there's just not a lot of people who want it. I know some people going through school, they really are artists and they want to do a lot of like creative colors and stuff like that. That is a really small market out
Yep.
there. Not a ton of people are wanting that type of a service. And if you are in that field, there's such a small market, you're going to have to be one of the top-notch people of creative colors. So that might be like a super small part of your bookings, and you're going to want to look for some other specialties that you can add onto that menu.
In my experience, it's not a lot of people.
Yeah, it's just not a lot of people.
It's totally fun, and it does pay great money depending on what it is, but at least from my eyes in my salon, we do not get a lot of vivid colors.
Yeah.
As fun as they are, and as much skill as it takes to do those, not a lot of people are looking for it. A lot of people want something that's kind of fits in their lifestyle, and vivid colors tend to require a lot of upkeep. That might not be, like our circle says, what the community needs.
Yeah. So we're going to help you think through also your potential customer bases. And then ultimately all of this comes together where you are paid for it. And I already mentioned that when you start to niche into something, you're able to command a little bit higher prices for those. Again, you're not interchangeable with a ton of other people, kind of like the supercuts model. And then also you get paid for it. That's also about those full bookings that it's not just about price, it's about keeping all of your slots full, creating that demand, and like I said, finding enough of a community that wants what you're offering, that as many hours as you want to work, that your chair or your table is full with customers for that. All right, so how do we really create this successful business? Let's start to walk through it. So we're going to take you through a process of starting to really think about yourself and who you are as an individual. And we have something called a vision board, where it's kind of like a fun visual way to think through different aspects of yourself that then will showcase how to take that vision board and create something unique. And Kaitlyn will be our guinea pig for that. She's our creative vision board, and we have in the description of this workshop, we have a link to Canva. We have 4 different templates that you can use to create your vision board. Before we get into that, we're actually going to read a couple stories. We created example vision boards of 3 different business owners and kind of exemplified how they took something about themselves and they created a unique, successful business based on that. So we're going to pause here, and we want you guys to go ahead and go to the link of the business owner profiles, read those stories, and then we're going to come back. So we're going to take a little pause. Please do take the time to read those, and we'll see you on the other side. Okay, so we are back having read the stories, and let's go into thinking about them a little bit. All right, so Kaitlyn, what stood out to you in these stories, these 3 different profiles?
So something that I really liked about every single one of them is you can really feel their passion through their stories.
Yeah.
And a lot of what they feel and what they're doing with how they feel is very passion driven, and they're using that to make themselves better at their business.
And all of them have kind of unique life stories
Mhm.
that they're able to challenge or channel into creating a service.
Yeah.
And how did each person use who they were, their interests, or the skills to create a great business? Let's
Mhm.
talk about one of them.
Yeah. So I believe it's Devin.
Mm-hmm.
She has curly hair and she is a woman of color who grew up in a predominantly white area, and her entire youth she had struggled with not really knowing how to take care of her hair and not really having a relationship with her natural curls, which that's now something that she's kind of taking that skill and helping other people who are kind of in the same position and helping them learn to love their curls and hopefully even get them from the jump where their lives are just them being able to handle their natural texture. And she kind of used her own personal struggles to make a business out of it.
And why might she be uniquely suited to serve other people in a similar situation?
Probably because she gets them,
Yeah,
she understands the clients that she wants to serve, and they probably can tell that she can understand them on a level where it's not just about, getting the haircut and getting in and out of the chair, but she also makes a point to help teach them and
exactly.
have them know more outside of her salon, which is probably really comforting to the client.
And the fact that she does that builds trust and
Yeah.
confidence with her clients. She's also a little bit unique in that she will require a consultation before she even performs her service for a new
Mhm.
client. And so that is a little bit risky because you're asking somebody to pay some money up front.
Yep.
But she really feels like,
Especially a new client.
yeah, a new client. But the end result is that she's able to give a real custom tailored service to that client. She's really taking the time to learn about their goals, their texture of their hair, if they want color, what's going to be the best approach and products. And I imagine that she's working with a lot of people who've had a lot of bad services done. And they're actually looking for the person who's going to take that extra time to really make sure that they work with them and who they are, what their hair is like. So, yeah. So again, it's about kind of finding that community that
needs it.
needs it. You're uniquely positioned to really serve that group really well. And why might customers be attracted to this business over others? Let's talk about Estelle with the waxing services.
Yes. So Estelle's really unique because she actually makes her own line of skincare for
Yeah.
her clients. And that alone is already probably super attractive to customers because not only are they getting a tailored experience with her services that she offers, but they're also getting it outside of her, and they get to kind of take that tailored service home with them. And not only is it helping them in between appointments of seeing her, but it also just kind of makes it feel like they're cared for inside and outside of seeing her. And, they are very tailored products. I believe they're all made with natural ingredients. They are most likely, they go hand in hand with the services that she offers. And that's probably, really attractive to the customers because, I always feel like we run into those people who are like, my hair looks so good right after I get out of the salon. And then a couple weeks later, it doesn't look that good anymore.
Yeah.
And it boils down to what you're doing at home and what your lifestyle is like. And she takes care of that for you.
Totally. And is she trying to compete with the businesses, the waxing services that are just that kind of in and out, cheap services?
She definitely is. I think not only on top of the products, she also mentioned that a large percentage of her client base are single mothers, also like her. So she also makes them feel kind of like I said with Dev, is that they're understood.
Yeah, totally.
And people love that, especially, being a single mother is hard. She's the first person to understand that struggle. And realize that self-care is probably super important for somebody who's caring for other people all the time.
Yeah, so she's actually not really, if people are looking solely based on they want to get waxed and it's based on price, she's not going to attract those people. She's going to attract the people who are willing to pay a little bit more for all of this extra value that they're getting. So they're not just getting a waxing service, but they're also getting skincare, kind of some support around taking care of themselves as whole people. So yeah, again, she's finding kind of a niche community that she can serve really well. All right, so we didn't really go in, let's just talk really quickly about Danilo before we head on. What was something that stood out about that profile?
So one thing I really liked about Danilo is that he made sure to mention his heritage and how heavy family and community is within his heritage. And that's something that he wanted to carry on into the overall vibe and aesthetic of his barbershop.
Yeah.
Is that you walk in there and you feel like your family, you feel like you're in this community. You're not just kind of what we said, you're not getting that super cuts experience where you're in and out of the chair, you're getting a nice, maybe an okay, nice haircut.
Yeah.
But you go in there and everybody feels like family, you know, and that is definitely a lot of, you know, a lot of people, something that look for, kind of like how I would return to the salon that I liked returning to, is I didn't just feel like I was sitting in a chair getting something and then leaving. I kind of felt welcomed and understood in the sense where I don't have to come in looking like a model in order to leave looking like a model.
Totally. And this is so important to him. The other people who rent chairs from him have stayed with him for a really long time. And he really emphasized that like good vibes only, so very little drama. And
just like family.
Yeah, just like family. Well, we all know family has drama
some
too.
drama.
And yeah, he had a little lounge space so people can come with their friends and
very comfortable.
Yeah, super comfortable. So that's a real emphasis on not just the technical service, but creating an atmosphere where people really feel great and want to be in that space and want to come back to that space. All right, so let's get into how to create your own vision board and start thinking through how your potential business is going to look. So, Kaitlyn, you created your own vision board. Do you want to talk us through this a little bit?
Yes, of course.
All right, there's a lot going on here. Let's start with this top right corner of who you are. What are some elements going on here?
So kind of just some factual things first and foremost. I did include some pictures of my family and friends because I think a really big part of who I am is who I am to other people. And that kind of plays a role into how I want to service people, is I want people to feel like I am someone to them. And, you know, like I'm a daughter, I'm someone's best friend. And I think that all boils down into me being very relationship heavy in terms of how I move through life. I also have a little picture there of two hands going like this into a blank sky.
Yeah.
And inside the little frame are some clouds. And I think that one just really represents how I kind of see the world. Not really romanticized, but more of just having a creative mind and wanting to create something out of nothing is very important to me. I put a little quote that says art is therapy right next to it.
So kind of choosing what you want, you're not seeing the world through like rose-colored glasses, but you're focusing on the aspects that you want.
Exactly.
To focus on.
And I also just have some other factual things in there. Like I work at a salon and I learned so much over there that I had to include it, not just doing my career, which is doing hair, but I mean, the community that we have there is so lovely. My coworkers teach me so much. I get a lot of life advice from them, which feels really cool.
Yeah.
And I also have a little nod to my heritage. I got the Filipino sun up there. And I also have one of my personal hobbies is astrology. And I put my own zodiac sign there, which is Aries.
All right, then we go down into the skills area. And we already talked a little bit about your honing in on your skill with thick
Yes.
hair. Anything else here that you want to talk about?
Yeah, of course. So outside of me doing hair, like I said, I love to see the world through a creative lens. I actually dabble in some artistic adventures sometimes. I have a painting that I did over there of Carrie from the 1970s movie Carrie when she's got pig's blood doused all over her.
Yeah.
That was for Halloween. Thought it was super fun. It's a cute little mural. I also do a little bit of graphics for social media for another job that I have. And I think that's a really nice skill of mine. Not only am I making something really pretty, which is a nod to how creative I like to be, but I also try to make a really good point of making something that I feel like people are going to connect with. So that way, through not only seeing our message, but they're receiving it well.
Great. And now we go into specialties. So again, we've already have covered that thick hair specialty.
Yes.
Any other specialties here that you want to point out?
Of course. So definitely this also can go hand in hand, but whether or not you do or don't have thick hair, I'm also getting really, really good at shortcuts.
Okay.
So I posted a couple of my favorite ones there. That bob right there was so gorgeous. She had chopped off, I think, about 5 inches of her
Okay.
hair that day. So we did a big transformation.
Yeah.
And I love doing big transformations in the salon. I love when people are super down for change. And she was ready for it. And she literally looked like a new person when she came out. And I think that's one thing that I really, really like to specialize in is just making people feel brand new and helping them be comfortable with being brand new.
Yeah. So yeah, you're uncovering another thing that you light up when you talk about it. So you're loving it and you're also discovering that you're
Yes.
good at it. Anything else in the specialties here?
I also kind of, like I mentioned earlier, I do some shorter cuts now. And for my men's cuts, I'm actually getting a lot of return clients for men's cuts. And I think the reason that is because I don't use clippers at all for any of my men's cuts. I only do scissor cuts. So I actually, I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, but the way barbers cut hair without clippers, I'm actually really good at that. So that's one of my specialties is it's called scissor over comb.
Yeah.
And men who typically like to leave a little bit of length on their hair, especially a lot of them are what we're getting in are curly haired men. They like a little bit more length. They typically would go to me over a barber because they go to a barber and they feel like all their hair gets cut off.
Got it.
And that's something that I'm always considerate of when they're looking for a different type of style with me.
Excellent. I love it. You're really like finding a few niches and like people are underserved in certain
Yes.
areas.
And
Like, oh my God.
the man in that picture is actually one of my first regulars. So
Okay.
he has been coming back to me every 5 weeks on the dot because he's just been super happy with everything that we've been doing.
That is fantastic. All right. And then we get into the what I love section. So let's talk about this a little bit.
Yeah, of course. So I've got some airplanes on there. I'm really, really big on travel. I love going places. I love experiencing new cultures. I think it makes me very well-rounded inside and outside of my personal and professional life. I also have a picture of the beach there and a little, it's supposed to be a redwood tree. Not sure how much of a redwood tree.
Oh, okay. There we go.
But I'm also really big on nature and hiking and just, even though I love travel and you see I've got music and dancing there, I definitely like to take the time to recharge my battery and just sit, enjoy nature, listen to the sound of silence, and then I can go back and be that fun person that I love to be all over again.
All right. So I'm noticing two things about your personality is you've got the quiet, contemplative side to yourself, and then also the very social, interactive. And we're going to explore how you can use those two aspects of your personality to maybe create some different environments for different types of clients. So next we're going to go into how to explore take this vision board and start to cultivate your business plan. We're going to pause again. We want you to go into the description with this video. There's a link again to those Canva templates. If you have Pinterest or something, you can create your own on some other platform. But we have some directions about how to create your own vision board using Canva. And there's, like I said, 4 templates. So they're kind of already laid out, and all you have to do is start adding pictures, which if you haven't used Canva before, they have a whole array of different types of images. You can also upload images that you have.
It was super easy.
Yeah, super easy to use.
And lots of fun.
Yeah,
It was so much fun.
Go have fun with it, play around for a little while, and then come back and we're gonna walk through how to take this and start thinking about like, okay, how do I create that unique business? So let's do another little pause. Okay, we are back. Hopefully you've taken the time to create your own fun vision board. And now let's get into a business plan. So sometimes people think of business plans as really lengthy documents where you have to write like 90 pages, et cetera, et cetera. That applies if you're looking for funding. You might need to really write out a business plan. But a lot of people in the entrepreneurship community have moved towards what they call a business canvas, which is more sort of like a sketch. You're starting to sketch out your ideas and acknowledging that this might change with time as you launch and you test your ideas out, you see what people are responsive to and what's working well, and your idea of your business is going to evolve and change with time. Already Kaitlyn has discovered some different things over the 2 years that she's been working, and so, but that's going to change. She's just at the beginning of her career, like her specialties and what she loves doing is probably going to evolve. So that's why people do more of these canvases, is to say, at this moment in time, this is the design of my business that I'm thinking. And then I'm not putting too much time and effort into solidifying that. I'm going to start with these ideas. I'm going to try them out, see if they work. And if I don't, then I'm going to create a new canvas. So it's just a little bit more flexible. So let's get into this. So Kaitlyn currently is an employee, but maybe she wants to branch out, rent a chair, and launch her own business. And we've already really covered this, but what do you think your main services are going to be?
I think my main services are definitely going to be cuts, color, and probably on-the-go styling that really takes emphasis on them being able to style their hair at home. So something very educational.
Okay, great. And so on her menu, those would be the main services that she would have listed right up front that people could book with a little description, a price, and then within that, what do you think you're going to specialize in? Again, we've already covered the thick hair, and then during that vision board, we uncovered a couple more.
Yes, so my specialties would probably definitely be thick hair. I want to say shortcuts across the board. I do a lot of bobs, pixies, and a lot of men's cuts, like I said earlier. And then I think another one of my specialties is definitely transformational cuts. Like I said, I love big chops. I love a big color change. That's something I want people to find comfort in me from, because change can be scary and I want to be the person that helps you get to that point.
I love that. And so she's not necessarily in her menu of bookings making this exclusive, but she might have on her website or somewhere else a description where she starts to emphasize some of her specialties. So it's not excluding people who want a different style of cut, but it's telling people I'm particularly good at X, Y, or Z. And let's go into, we already explored it a little bit, but what are some clients that you can or want to serve best given these specialties that you're narrowing, honing in on?
So definitely people with really thick hair who struggle to manage that at home and maybe haven't found the right person to cut their hair the way that they want it to. And then kind of getting
I actually
into
fall into that
she
category.
does fall.
I
She just
spoke
asked
to
me for
her.
a haircut. So it's perfect.
'Cause I've also struggled to find the person.
Exactly. And that's very common in the salon industry and the beauty and barber industry in general is a lot of people who have a very specific issue or problem they want addressed and finding a stylist who can specialize and help you out and make you feel kind of like we said, you're not crazy for
Yeah.
having this struggle. And
Yeah.
that's the kind of person that I want to serve. Another group of people that I do want to serve best are, like I said, people who want to have a transformation and people who are actually, frequent in their transformations. If you're somebody who changes your hair every 8 months, it might be hard for you to keep a stylist because there's inconsistency and some stylists actually really like consistent clients, but
Yeah.
you're not that person. I want you to feel comfortable seeing me and I want to be the person that validates those desires that you have.
And I love that. What are some transitions in particular, like life transitions people might be going through that you could hone in on, like some kind of demographics? I
Yeah,
can think of a couple, but let's hear what you think.
absolutely. So I think one that personally tugs at my heartstrings a lot are I do serve a lot of thicker haired people, but I also want to be able to serve people who are losing their thickness, because that can be a really hard life change for some people. And even though my specialty is texturizing their hair, I actually really know what's good for people who are going through that transformation of losing their hair and kind of talking them into different ways to style and cut their hair that would fit their life a little bit better.
Yeah.
So those are also people who are going through some, what's the word I'm thinking of?
Well, I can totally relate to this because actually my mom went through that.
Yeah.
She started balding a little bit at the top, and it was just a blow to her confidence
Yes.
and to her self-image. And I know she really struggled. I don't think she ever actually found somebody that could really do a great job of helping her figure out the best cut for her. So I totally see that there's a niche of folks out there, and that if you were able to serve them really well in that transition, they would be incredibly devoted to you.
Yes. I think at the end of the day, it's the big thing that I want to help address with clients is change, whether they're choosing it or not.
Yeah.
And there's definitely people on both ends who want that change and are seeking for it. And there's also people who just change happens to. And I want to be the person that, like I said, they feel comfortable coming to me and helping them sort that out.
Maybe they're going through a medical issue. And yeah, I know for myself, like when I'm starting a new job, I want a new cut. I want to show up. It helps me feel more confident to show up to that new position. So I love this, and I would love to see you put this, start to highlight some of this in your social media, that you're doing some pictures and some stories and expressing your passion and telling a story of a transformation, so that you're starting to communicate to people some of these specialties, and also allowing people who are looking for these to find you, put that on your website, etc., and really spell it out. We have that client communication workshop. We talk about how to really express your full value, to go from simple facts, which might be I cut hair, to really spelling out to people some of this deeper value that we want to provide to them. So I think you're amazing. You've already got some really super awesome client groups that you're wanting to hone in on. I love that just 2 years in, you're really finding what you're passionate and good at, and people that you can uniquely serve. And let's go into a little bit extras or added benefits. So this is just little things that we can add that takes our clients from feeling happy to almost like delighted. It's there little touches that they might not really be expecting, but it's just they can be little details that we add onto the service that just makes them extra fall in love with us. Are you you have any examples of these right now?
Yeah, of course. So a couple that I actually do with every single person that sits in my chair is first thing that I do after they sit down and we've introduced each other is, I kind of want you to feel like you're coming into my home and seeing me. I'm going to offer you something to drink. I'll grab a water, or we have a Keurig in the back, so I can make you some coffee. And I think, that's very akin to when you're visiting somebody in their home and they're like, would you like anything to drink?
Yeah,
It's very, very common. And another one that I have implemented, especially after we're working under Leah, is a neck massage at the bowl whenever we're doing our shampoos. Is a scalp massage is something that's typically included, but I feel like a little neck massage is something that's a little extra that not a lot of people find. And I started really thinking about it. These people have their head laying back in a shampoo bowl. It might not be super comfortable for everybody, especially if you have mobility issues, or anatomy can play a really big part in that. I'm just kind of want to ease the tension there too. And I think it's a little something extra that not a lot of other stylists
love it.
probably offer.
Yeah. I've seen barber shops that want to emphasize that they're a little bit more elevated, serve their clients like bourbon or whiskey. Some people might have, like, they're serving families, they might have a little kids corner with some books and a little cozy corner for kids to go in. Or maybe you're running a spa and you really want to have people super relaxed. You're going to think about the music or some aromatherapy or something like that. So it's just really thinking through little extras that is sustainable for you. You're not breaking yourself trying to provide like tons of extras.
I've also seen if you are a color specialist or a hair extensionist, or you do braids, those services typically last hours. I've seen snack carts because, I mean, if somebody's in your chair for 4 hours, their stomach's probably going to grumble once.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So we really want to think through extras and little added benefits. I want to get a little creative with you. And one of the things that I noticed on your vision board was that the horoscope is of interest to you. And I'm wondering, is there a way that we could incorporate that into your business?
Yeah, that's actually a good idea. I think so. Kind of what I've seen in like cafes, and I've even seen nail technicians try this out, is have specific services dedicated to working with your zodiac sign. For example, I think maybe a really fun way to do this is to create color palettes for each zodiac sign. And if
I love it.
somebody comes in and they're like, I'm a Libra or I'm a Scorpio or something, I think I would probably take inspiration from what those zodiac signs represent and probably come up with some different color combos and different color services that would help emphasize that and maybe help them feel a little bit more like themselves. Like, I'm an Aries and I've got red hair. I think that's perfect, actually. And it's been working. I get a lot of compliments on it. I think the red is a very confident color, the Aries is a very confident sign. So I feel like maybe sometimes I kind of owe that to myself when I do feel a little extra fiery.
Yeah, I love it. That's I mean, that would make you completely stand out. There's so many people are into
astrology. Oh my gosh, so many people love it. And I don't think I've ever seen something like that be offered in a salon anyway. So
I mean, that would really make you pop.
Yes, for sure.
Space.
And it's fun for everybody, it's fun for me, and I'm sure the clients would love it.
And this is also leaning into that aspect of your vision board of like fun and playful and artistic. And also you've mentioned that you love helping people with transformations.
Yes.
So this could be sort of like the horoscope or astrology transformation service package.
That sounds so fun. I even like I'm so into it. I even know when the planets are changing and everything, and actually like well-established people who really study
Yeah.
astrologers, they make recommendations on maybe today's not a great day to get your hair cut. So maybe we can talk about something else. Maybe we can just add a gloss or something.
Yeah.
And I think that would also play really, really well into something like that.
Yeah, yeah, you can get creative with your business.
And people want that, clients definitely, like we said, there are people who are looking for something very specific.
Yeah,
I'll probably get those people.
yes. And it's not going to be her everyday, like all of her bookings are going
It's a
to be
specialty.
Yeah.
It's something special.
That's just like a little extra that she can add onto her menu. And yeah, so we want you to think a little bit creatively too. And what is maybe one unique service that would really help you to stand out? It could be fun, it could be transformational. I remember talking with somebody who was an esthetician in the esthetician program, and it was actually a very moving story. She had come from a domestic abuse situation, and she was going through one of these workshops, and she connected that she was getting feedback already from her clients that she had a really soft touch.
Mm-hmm.
And
Aww.
she realized that like she could specialize in facials for people who had trauma with their body and aren't necessarily super comfortable, and that she could be kind of that person who helps them start to reconnect with their body in a positive way. I mean, I just get chills even just talking about it.
Yeah, no, that's really awesome. Especially in such a touch heavy industry.
Yes, yes. And that's the other thing is that if we have personal challenges in our lives, often that gives us insight into situations other people are going through. So if you're in the esthetician, maybe you've struggled with some aspect of skincare or other life situations. So, I mean, this can get really deep, and you can go into really like transformational deep experiences. Again, I was talking about my mom with her thinning hair. I mean, those kinds of things can go really deep for people, very emotional, deep insecurities, and maybe just yeah, I think I've elaborated on that enough.
Yeah.
But yeah,
people want that though. They want somebody who understands those things. Even if people struggle with certain insecurities about what they've been through, it's really important. I mean, you can put yourself in their own shoes. You probably want to go to somebody who understands you the best. Yeah.
And it can also just be something transformational for ourselves. Where we think that this is a superficial industry, but there can be some really deep aspects of this. And it's also transformational for us when something that's been challenging, we can then help others with that situation.
Yes.
And that helps to heal it for us. It heals other people. And then we're just providing like more than just a cut or a color or a facial. We're love and healing. I mean, okay. So all of this is then also, let's talk about how this leads into space. So the environment, designing the environment of your business is really important. If you're renting a chair, you might not have a ton of control over that, but you could add some special touches. Let's talk about, so we've got some different types of clients that you're thinking of serving. What are some, and you have different parts of your personality.
Yes.
So how do we marry that in your space and your environment?
So I think I probably definitely feel like people who are struggling with change that they didn't choose versus people who are choosing change typically come from different personality groups. So I think something that would be really fun idea that allows me to cater to both groups of people is probably have quieter days during the week where typically the demographic is people who come in throughout the weekdays, the weekdays are a quieter day in the salon, and maybe they want that kind of quieter vibe, and they want that kind of sense of space where they're just they're being taken care of, and it's a little bit more calming for them.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and the weekends in the salon are a little bit more bustling and a little bit more chaotic. And those would probably be the days best suited for my clients who are doing something a little funkier with their hair and just went through a breakup and they need their bangs chopped or something.
Yeah.
I think that would be really fun to have these kind of designated days in the salon. And I've already seen people offer quiet services where you kind of give your client their space. You may do a really light consultation in the beginning of the service, but then throughout it, they're just kind of relaxing in your chair and having this very calm energy.
And I know personally, like I've sort of wished that the stylist I had in the past would do that, because I know I'd come to her sometimes after work and I am fried.
Yeah.
And she's talking to me through the whole session. I'm just like, I just want to close my eyes and like just zone out for this hour. Like I don't actually want to have this conversation. So even having a way in your intake, again, we have that client communication workshop that in that booking process, et cetera, you can give people a few options of like what type of environment. And if you're able to offer some different options on different days, then you can even more custom tailor to like what people want. Or if you're in a solo suite, then you can give people those options. Do you want like quiet, meditative, relaxing, or do you want more upbeat? And I can provide both and meet your needs at that day and time based on, where you're
You can
at.
even change the music. Like on the weekdays, I might have a little bit of a softer playlist. If somebody even just wants it completely silent, we would always do that too. And then on the weekends, I'll probably opt for a pop playlist or something a little bit more upbeat, which would in turn kind of better suit the clients that I would see those days anyways.
And I think also your personality, I don't see you going to a solo suite option.
I don't think it's really not my
In a chair in a salon, you love community.
Love community. It's definitely something I actually mentioned on my vision board, that I love working with my coworkers because I mean, not only do I learn so much from them, the tips and tricks of doing hair, but just having life advice and having people to work with, that's also something you want to think about, because, if you're running your own business, it kind of gets to be up to you a little bit.
Yeah. So let's do this last bit, which is what I sell. So what, based on the types of clients, et cetera, that we've been talking about, what's some retail that you might want to have on hand?
Yeah. So I think if I'm dealing with people who are going through change, whether it's by choice or not, I'm probably going to want a really versatile line of products. So I can serve people who are losing and thinning their hair and the people who have really thick hair. And I think I also want it to be something very affordable if these are people who are going through changes and maybe they're going to have to switch up their product every once so often. Or, I can think for me, myself personally, I've got long, thicker hair. I don't want to spend so much money on something if I'm going to be using it all in one go. And I think that's also really important too.
Excellent. And that's going to be a little bit challenging for you. You're going to have to expend a little bit more on your back bar and your inventory. So if you're in a similar situation, come to our finance workshop, which helps you to plan for those costs. And then you might also want to look for suppliers that can deliver with very few days between the order and the delivery, so that you might not have to invest so much money in your inventory, but you can replenish quickly and easily in small batches if you don't want to be sinking a ton of money into that back bar with the vast array of products that you might have to have for these different clients. So, all right, let's take a pause. We would love to have you work through your business plan And there's a link to that in the video. So take a few minutes and start to sketch that out. And then we're going to go through the last part of our workshop, which is to really think a little bit more deeply about your clients. All right, see you on the other side. All right, so we are back and we're going to get into the last section of this workshop. We know that there's several sections to this, so please work through the different aspects. And now we're going to go into the last part of thinking about your business and making it truly successful, is that this red circle, which is the community needs it. We really want to think deeply about those potential client groups that we're targeting and to think through who they are so that we can design our business to serve them best. And so here's some questions that you can, I think Kaitlyn's already really honed in on some different client groups, but you can also think through like who lives where my business is located, different demographics or people working at different businesses, etc. Are you near a school? So a lot of people are choosing locations based on what's close to other activities in their life. Who might I best be able to serve given my background? So again, if you've had certain life experiences, then you might want to think about, like, for instance, Devin with the curly hair. She really honed it into a certain client group based on that background. Or who are my ideal clients? I think one of your ideals is people who want to go through those kind of fun life transformations or challenging life transformations. So you might not have a robust client base on that right now, but you want to really start, again, posting media that emphasizes your ability to do things and start to have those people find you. And then in your marketing plan, you would want to think about, like, where can I advertise that people in these types of situations can find me?
Yes.
So for instance, if you want that older group, even though you're the younger generation that I know uses more like TikTok and Instagram, us older folks are more on Facebook.
Yeah.
So you don't want to be like, well, I am comfortable with TikTok. I'm just going to post my older transformation clients on TikTok. Well, they're not going to find you there because they're not on that platform.
Might not get a lot of people from TikTok.
Yeah. So basically what we want to do is then go into these client profiles and really think about, do a few of them based on a few different groups of people that you're interested in serving, and really go into their wants, their needs, what type of service or experience they're looking for, and products that you would need. So let's go again through, since we were already talking about that older audience that's dealing with the thinner hair. What are some of the things that they're wanting out of that experience?
So they definitely probably want somebody who doesn't feel very judgmental to their situation. Which especially, you know, if, for example, you probably have the type of hair that they want, it's kind of important to be self-aware that they are looking at other people and wanting these things, but they don't want to feel judged for wanting those things. I also think they also want to leave feeling really good about their hair and having them look a certain way, which is okay. And that's what you're there for. I think that's probably their biggest wants out of their service.
Okay. And what are some things that they might need? It's not what they want, but what they need out of the service.
Yes, I think sometimes, a lot of the times actually, they might need to hear certain things that they might not want to hear.
Yeah.
But that's also kind of your job to have that kind of communication with them. And that's probably something you guys go over in the client communication workshop. And sometimes there are specific information that you have to deliver to the client in order for them to understand what they do need out of their hair in order to get them for their wants.
Yeah. Or helping them to accept the reality of their new situation.
Because really that, at least for people who are going through, you know, a challenging life change, sometimes, you know, you might have people who are really self-aware of what's going on, but there are other people who might need that reality check
Yeah,
before they could even address anything with you.
yeah. And so I think we already touched on this a little bit, but that service and experience, we're talking about having a little bit more of a quieter environment. It also might be days when not all of the people are working at your salon. Maybe like some people are taking that day off.
Mhm.
So it's a little bit quieter. Maybe that person gets a little bit more privacy.
Yes.
There's not somebody like right next door overhearing and chiming in, like another client is like, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. Like,
Some people don't want that.
yeah, it might be a vulnerable, or maybe you can choose a spot in the salon that's a little bit more,
private, yeah.
or put up like even one of those portable screens.
Mhm.
So just some ways to think about like custom tailoring that experience for that type of client.
Mhm.
And then what are some products that you might have?
For sure. So definitely, at least for people who are struggling with hair loss, you definitely want products that not only promote the look of volume in terms of styling, but maybe you want to carry some products that actually do help promote regrowth in the hair. And you might have a lot more scalp based products as opposed to hair products that really focus just on after the shower styling and how to make the hair look big. You kind
Yeah.
of, if you want to focus more on making the hair actually be fuller again, you might want to invest in some more medical grade products like minoxidil. Minoxidil is a really popular one. You could carry some of those. A lot of salons actually don't. So
Yeah,
that would make
so
you different too.
yeah, so again, we have these client profiles to really think deeply about some different demographic groups that you're wanting to serve, and to design that business, that service, that you're meeting all of these different boxes. And you're really thinking through the client and how to design that business to meet not only what you want to be doing, but what their needs are going to be too. And we have for you some ideas that you can pull from. So different needs that they might have based on kind of who they are, or location convenience, or disabilities. So just to help you kind of think through that, different wants that they have, like upscale, refine versus a hangout vibe, clean versus maybe noisy and creative. Different people are going to want different things, and that's fine. This is not a one size fits all industry. Service experience, like self-care pampering versus spiritual or religious or eco-friendly. So just kind of really thinking through deeply, like, again, those types of clients that you're serving. And then products, you already mentioned that you want to have cost conscious products that people can use. And then we talked about, for people with thinning hair, so just helping you to think through a little bit more what you need to carry in order to effectively create the best service. And what you want to do is create a couple different client profiles. Again, this is just to really help you think through the design of your business, and that you're thinking from your end, but then also from your clients, and you're really covering the bases and doing a really thoughtful business that hopefully will be really successful.
Yes. Actually, one thing that I do subconsciously do that I'm realizing now is when I do have thinner haired clients, I move a little slower because I want them to feel like I'm still taking the same amount of work as I would on anybody else.
Yeah.
And also, if I do move a little slower, it actually makes them feel like maybe they do still have something to work with.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
and it doesn't cost me any time because ideally I'd be working a little bit faster if I don't have that much hair to cut. But I just like to take my time, be a little bit more gentle with it. And that also goes hand in hand with they probably want that kind of calmer service anyways.
Yeah. Love it. All right. So hopefully this really helped you to start to think about creating, again, that unique service, that unique business. And so we have also some questions to help you think through your clients a little bit more. So Kaitlyn was already noticing some conflicts between different client groups, and we we're already thinking through how to resolve that so that you might have different hours or prices or meet different transportation needs. And does each group want what I want to offer? Do they have different needs? How do I accommodate those, but also be sustainable? So I think we
touched on that.
Yeah, we touched on that a bit. So again, you might be serving different people with different needs. And I love how the different days of the week actually naturally are maybe meeting those different client groups already. But yeah, you might want to think about just the design of your space. Can you create a more intimate part of the salon and a more sort of communal space, but just help you think through those, how to meet those different needs, or you might have to sacrifice one of your client groups if it just is like not compatible with the rest of the people that I want to serve. And then there might be some skills that you need to develop in order to better serve them. And in that case, you want to go look for somewhere to do an apprenticeship or work somewhere that you're going to learn those skills. I remember when I was interviewing Devin, she was first became a color specialist.
That's right.
And then she really wanted to do curls. And she specifically looked for the salon that was doing the type of curls that she felt like she could learn from. And she came to them with already that color specialist skill
And I think
set.
they were looking for that.
They were looking
anyways.
for that. So yeah, so you really want to think about like, oh, who am I wanting to serve? What's that skill set that I'm looking for? And where can I go to learn and hone in on that? Last steps. We want you to develop at least 3 client profiles. Again, it's really going to help you think through the design of your business and take some time further refine your business concepts. It's a business canvas. So again, we're not spending a ton of time and energy writing these things. And that's the point, is that we can mull these ideas over. We can let them simmer in the back of our heads. Go ask other people what they see about you. Your colleagues might be noticing something about you that you're not noticing. So ask them what they think you're really good at. Get feedback, ask your potential clients to give you input on your ideas. Kaitlyn could start to talk to some of those clients and say like, hey, I'm thinking about specializing on this. Do you think that that would be successful? So that's part of the design process, is just testing ideas out, getting feedback from folks. And also in our communication workshop, we do go over how to do customer feedback surveys. So that's another way that you can get feedback from people and test out and get feedback on whether some of these things that you're thinking about would actually be successful in the world. And Kaitlyn might ask one of those people who are coming to her for the short haircuts, hey, do you know other men who are wanting this type of cut? If I specialize in this, do you think there's a lot of demand for that? What's your opinion? Yeah, just talk to people. And we're here to also consult with you as you go through this and think about your business ideas. We're available for a consultation and can help you further refine your business concept.
Yep.
All right. Any last words?
I just wanted to wish all of you guys the very best luck. I know you guys are going to do great things, and I can't wait to see you out there in the industry.
All right.
Bye.